Okay, so we're on 3.11 or 3.11, more expressions and equations. So I'm going to do a couple of samples of these. I can't do every one of them that could be possible out in the real world. So you need to just think about how I'm using my thinking to help me. And then you're just going to have to practice it, and eventually they'll finally start clicking in your head. All right, so I'm going to start with a problem on page 158. And it's letter A, if that helps you when you're copying it down. There are half as many boys in a certain club as there are girls. Write an expression for the total number of boys and girls in the club. So it says there's half as many boys as there are girls. So that means there's more girls than boys. Half as many boys than there are girls. So I'm going to just say, okay, I'm going to say girls plus the boys. And boys are the same thing as half of the girls. I can also write this like this, G plus G over 2. So either one of those, sorry about the circle, would work. Let's try the next one. That's all they wanted. Write an expression, and this is on page 159, letter B. Write an expression for the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers. So I know I'm doing sum, and I'm doing 3 numbers. So I like to do a lot of visuals to help myself. A consecutive number means they come in order. So 1, 2, 3 would be consecutive numbers. 45, 46, 47 are consecutive numbers. If they're odd integers, well, look, this one's odd, this one's not. This is odd. So the next consecutive odd numbers would look like this. 1, 3, 5. Okay. Consecutive even, 2, 4, 6. So it says an expression for the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers. We don't know any more than that. So this is x. I'm going to make this x. If we're looking at 1, how would we get from 1 to 3 using addition, multiplication, division, subtraction? If I just add 2, I get the same thing. How do I get from x to 5? I add 4. So this is the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers. The perimeter of a rectangle is 150 centimeters. So I'm very visual, so I'm going to draw this. And when I find a perimeter, this is the length and the width. And I know I need 2 W's plus 2 L's to equal perimeter. And the perimeter, it says, is 15 centimeters. Excuse me, 150 centimeters. The length is, so the length is usually means equal sign, 15 greater than the width. So whatever the width is, it's going to be 15 greater. So I'm going to come over here, the width is going to stay the same, but I'm going to change the length to width plus 15. And now I'm solving my equation. I have an equation. Parentheses, distribute the 2. So 2w plus 2 times w plus 2 times 15 equals 150. 2 plus, or excuse me, if I clean it up, then I'm doing here 2 times 15 is 30. So 4w, 2w and 2w plus 30 equals 150. Get the w by itself by subtracting or adding. That's the next step. This gives me a 0, and I'm looking for that. So I'm left with 4w equals 120. Divide opposite operations. W equals 50. It wants to know what length is. So if w is 50, to get the length, we get 65 centimeters. So the length is 65 centimeters. The width is 50. Last one, this is on the same page, and this is letter D. The sum of an integer and twice the next consecutive integer is 29. What is the integer? So it's the sum of 2 numbers, and it is 29. So we're getting partway there. An integer and twice the next consecutive integer. Let's start, this is x. What would the next consecutive number be? So looking back at, like I said, 1, 2, 3, to get from 1 to 2, we would have to add 1. So the next consecutive number would be x plus 1. But it wants twice the next consecutive number. So that means 2 times x plus 1. Twice the next consecutive number. All right, so let's do that. Distribute, get rid of your parentheses. So x plus 2 times x, pardon me, plus 2 times 1. Clean this up. 3 plus 1, or 2 plus 1 is 3x plus 2. Subtract that 2 from both sides. This gives you the 0. You get 3x equals 29 minus 2, which is 27. Divide by 3, x equals 9.